BioShock 2 is the sequel to the original BioShock that takes place 10 years after the events of BioShock 1 and got remastered a while back. And today I will give my full review of the game and what I think of it. Anyway, before we get into this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. But actually getting into this, I will keep this as spoiler free as possible in case you haven't played it, or if you're just looking for a spoiler free review to see if you should grab the game. Also, if you want to watch my review on BioShock 1, you can watch it right now in the top right hand corner of your screen. And eventually I will get to BioShock Infinite, but that probably won't happen for a couple months. So, BioShock 2, as I said before, takes place 10 years after the events of BioShock 1, and in this game you get to play as a Big Daddy, which are the giant 1920s diver looking dudes, which it's a cool idea to bring as it's a very iconic part of the game as they are featured on both BioShock 1 and 2 covers. But as well in this game, you get to dive back into Rapture again and explore new places that you couldn't in BioShock 1 and discover more about the place. And this brings a new story with it, which is somewhat similar to BioShock 1, but brings new aspects to the game and brings new characters, which it has its good callbacks to older characters as well, but overall the story is just alright. As I said it with the same thing with BioShock 1. It's nothing amazing, but it's nothing bad as well, just alright, with some of it being fairly predictable, which is something I just don't like that much. Then, the characters in this game are also not too great as well. You don't really get to build any kind of deep relationship with them, and they all just kind of feel like they show up to be conveniently there to help you, or they're just conveniently there to be in your way. And one of these characters is the Big Sister, which imagine a Big Daddy but a female. While the idea is cool, they really failed at implementing them, as they pretty much play as boss fights every now and then in your journey that all play the same exact way. If you remember the Warden from Halo 5, it's pretty much that where you fight them several times and it's almost the exact same time every single time. And really the only difference about this is that maybe every now and then you have a new plasmid you can try out. Other from that though, the environment is still as good as BioShock 1, with it making you feel all alone and isolated. I feel like it's a little bit weaker than what they did in BioShock 1. And I still think Rapture is a great idea, with it being a city underwater that's been run down, and how well they convey it with the environment, with all kind of set pieces and just how it plays, but overall it feels like a toned down environment versus BioShock 1. Now, mechanics in the game, while they did get a big boost compared to BioShock 1, personally my favorite one is the new hacking system, whereas BioShock 1 there was the tube mechanic where you have to get fluid from one side to another, but in this game it's much more simple and can be done much faster, which I like a lot. The gun mechanics and movement mechanics have been improved on, as it feels more fluent and overall just better with new guns making their way into the game. Then other from this though, everything else is pretty much the same, from the Gatherer's Guarding to the Circus of Value, which I feel like they could have done more with, but hey, it's not gonna happen. Now, one thing I don't like too much about this game is the abundance of stuff. For example, in BioShock 1, I always felt like I was short on money, Eve, first aid kits, and Adam, whereas in this game, I feel like I always have too much and I constantly have the problem where I have maxed out everything. And when I did need stuff like first aid kits, you could find them literally anywhere and you find like 3 at a time. This was to the point where I would go buy a full stack of something like first aid kits to find like 3 of them just in the next room sitting down. And the other thing is the difficulty in this game. So I played this game on medium, right, as I wanted a casual experience, but I gotta say the game was extremely easy, and the only time I really ever struggled was when I was fighting a Big Sister and I had no ammo, no first aid kits, and no money, so I just kept dying over and over as it was nearly impossible to kill it. Other from that though, the only other times I died was when I had low health and I just gambled that I couldn't make it because it was so easy and I just got shot from somewhere else that I wasn't looking at. Now, this might just be a medium difficulty setting, but I still wanted something that was a little bit more challenging. Also, something else that was off about this game is the pacing of it. I never played a game that felt like it was burning through so fast, but also had multiple times where it was super long and super played out. BioShock 1, in my opinion, had great pacing, so I don't know if it's just me or just the pacing of this game, but it was super off in my opinion. So overall, while this game did improve on a lot from BioShock 1, I feel underwhelmed by this game. To be honest, this game, in my opinion, feels like a way to get a little money from the success of BioShock 1. Personally, I just don't think there was any need to go back to Rapture and give us another game in Rapture. I feel as BioShock 1 told the story of Rapture amazingly, and they could have just stopped there and it would have been fine. Then, for the longevity of this game, I don't really see much replayability in it besides just exploring more places, but the time you actually get for in-game content was fairly similar to BioShock 1 for my experience. So for example, I had 8.5 hours on BioShock 1, and with this game I had 8.1 hours, which several of those being just exploring the place. So while it's a cool concept of playing as a Big Daddy and exploring Rapture again, I do have to say that with this alright story and the mediocre feel that this game isn't nearly as good as BioShock 1. And really the only reason I would recommend you pick this game up is if you're just investing in the lore like I was, or you just want a cheap game to kill off time, which thankfully if you can find this game on sale, you could get it for like $5, which is nice, and it could pretty much run on any system, as I have a borderline low end system for 2020 and I still average around 140 FPS at all times. But giving this game a rating, I would have to say a solid 6 out of 10 with it. Could have been better, but it just failed at many aspects. Other from that though, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found this video good, a like is always appreciated, and subscribe for more content like this. But until next time, see ya.